guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to as well. Today, we are going to be talking about making friends in your 20s. Post-college, never college, just adulting. If you're new here, hi, my name is Francesca. I make vlogs, hauls, routines, sit-down videos, and everything in between. So if you like any of that, you should just go ahead and hit subscribe. So, making friends in your 20s, right? So most of us, I feel like, college, high school, middle school, so on and so forth, school was the main way of us making friends. And with us living through an entire global pandemic, I feel like a lot of us have lost our social cues. So here, today, I am going to tell you how to make friends in your 20s. Before we get started, I do want to give you guys a little bit of a backstory, right? So, I have what I consider like a staple group of small friends. The majority of my friends are either males or somewhat masculine presenting individuals. So I do not have a lot of female friends. And it's something that I don't necessarily see an issue with, but I was speaking with my therapist, not sponsored, but ThriveWorks, if you want to talk after this, just hit me up. But we were talking about building relationships and what that looks like in the realm of today, where we don't really have face-to-face conversations with people. I spoke to my neighbor who has lived across the hall from me for 2 years for the first time the other day. And it was crazy to both of us that we never even said hello. Didn't know her name, anything. So we started talking about what that looks like and me working on that as a person because I think that's important for me. So I wanted to come to you guys and talk about some possible ways to make friends in your 20s. So the first category I really want to talk about is the concept of using the internet to make friends, right? So we communicate primarily through the internet, be it text, be it social media, be it video chat, whatever it is, that's like our main mode of communication nowadays. So why not use that as a way to make friends? So first off, we do have the concept of apps. So we have Bumble, we have Meet Me, we have like all of these like live chat room group things. I am not an app girly. I did not use dating apps. I don't really like them, but a lot of people, this does work. I say one thing with this is building positive connections. I have a friend who lives somewhat further away from me that I actually built a friendship with over COVID from one of these apps because we had the opportunity to just learn and talk to each other. So, big thing with the internet is learning to build genuine connections. And I think that's the hard thing in general, is making that connection something that you genuinely have and just not out of convenience. So first option is utilizing apps. I do think that the con to this can be being somewhat shallow. I mean, you are going off of a profile that someone's presenting their best self of, and you're kind of judging it from there. So it can be difficult sometimes with that. Still in the internet category, let's talk about Facebook groups, right? I am a small-time YouTuber, and if you are a small-time YouTuber, you know one of the things that we use quite often are groups. It allows us to learn things about the app, it allows us to learn things about ourselves, and to promote ourselves. There are a lot of Facebook groups out there. If you have an interest, a hobby, something that you like, a profession, there's a Facebook group for it. So look for it, type in, let's say, I enjoy editing, right? And I'm like filming and editing Facebook group. Pull it up. Engage in that group. Talk to the people in that group. You may never actually meet these people, but you have that opportunity to grow a connection with someone who you already have a genuine thing in common. Whatever that thing is that you're a part of this group for, build that connection off of it. Make it work. The last subcategory in the online is talking to people that you already have connections with. A lot of us may have gone to smaller schools, or a lot of us may have never went to college, or maybe even you spent some of your high school time online. Be it that it may, most of us have social media, and we have connections to people that we don't genuinely talk to. There are at least 3 girlies who are super supportive, like everything that I post, talk to me every day, that I've maybe saw once or twice in my life, and there's an opportunity for engagement there. You know, you don't have to be the bestest of friends. Again, focus on building that genuine connection, but just reaching out and saying, hey, I noticed that you said that you enjoyed XYZ. Have you ever thought about ZYX? And making that connection. A big example of this is I had a girl that I actually follow on Facebook. We went to high school together. I actually was friends with like her boyfriend's friends. So like we were around each other quite often, but we never talked to each other. And she had like commented on about a book that I was reading. And I messaged her and I was like, hey, like, how'd you like the book? Or what do you think about this twist at the end? And we were able to have a solid, genuine conversation about this thing that we already shared interest in because we had made that connection already on my Facebook post. So that is the general gist of all the online options that I could think of. A big thing, of course, is to be safe. Catfishing is real. We don't have 8+ seasons of catfish for nothing. People catfish friends. People may use the internet to gain information from you to use you or to catfish someone else. Just be safe, okay? Just be safe. And if you meet up with a stranger that you have not met before to hang out, make sure that somebody knows where you are, has your location, and preferably is at least like within walking distance from you so that they can help you if you need help. Okay. All right. The second large category I want to talk about is a controversial one, but making friends at work. Hear me out. So, as some of you may know, I actually met my boyfriend at work, and again, controversial topic, but there is a way to make it work. My very best friend, Eli, that you guys have seen multiple times on my channel, I met via work. Work is like the school of our adult life, right? The problem is with work is we kind of all have to be there. Some people may enjoy their job, but at the same time, you are primarily there to make money. So you guys might not have the actual real connection of having things in common or being genuine with each other. You may just have that connection of, I really don't like my boss, or I really don't like what we're doing. And that's something to keep in mind with when you're trying to build connections with work. Again, it's important to find that genuine connection, those things that you guys have in common, and really reach out. A big thing that I encourage people to do in the case of this is keep it appropriate, especially if you are engaging and pursuing a friendship with someone that you are attracted to. It's your attraction group. You know, if you are a female who's attracted to males, be very cautious, careful, and appropriate about how you address your male friend. So just make sure that you're building that connection genuinely for it to be a friendship, and also protect yourself because our jobs are important. We need to make money and we don't need to jeopardize that because we tried to make friends. Okay. So, I mean, a big example is with me and Eli, for instance. We had worked at the movie theater with each other years ago, and we had a morning meeting. We normally had our morning meetings at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, so it was before the theater opened. And he reached out to me after the meeting and asked me if I wanted to watch a movie. We had free movies, and it was the Peanuts movie. It's like literally the worst possible thing for us to have watched, but we enjoyed it and like made fun of it so much, and we really realized that like that connection that we had built over gossip, because that's really how we started becoming friends, was something worth exploring more. So find those opportunities, ask them to hang out in groups too. Get to know the rest of your coworkers, make that work for you. Another option, kind of similar to work but not really, is volunteering. This is not one that I have actually done, but it's very similar to the work concept, especially if you have a cause that's very important to you. For instance, for me, I find social issues. So let's say that I decide to volunteer to support local community outreach for minority groups. I know that that's something that's important to me, and someone who shares that value is important to me as well. So volunteering can really teach you a lot about a person, teach you a lot about their values, and it gives you the opportunity to create something great together, whether that is a physical project or really just an impact. Again, keep it appropriate. we're talking about making friends here, not building relationships, and make sure that you're focusing on the volunteer act. But really, if you're consistently volunteering with someone and you know that you guys have similar things in common, ask them to hang out. Be like, hey, you want to go get drinks after this? You want to go get dinner? Did you eat? You know, just reaching out and making that connection. Also, branching very close, the next option is enrolling in a class and or doing some type of community group activity. There are adult sports groups. There are adult interest groups. There are adult book clubs, things like that, where you have the opportunity to come together under a similar interest and make friends. When I was in high school, I was homeschooled for a short period, and I was actually in an earth environmental group that was held at my library. I actually gained about 3 or 4 friends from that were like my high school friends. Some of them spilled over into college as well, but it was really nice to engage and have that option of having someone who, again, cared about something that I cared about, had an interest that I care about. Another big thing that I've been considering is joining a local field hockey group. They have an adult field hockey group where it's varying options of ability, but I used to play field hockey when I was younger, and I think it's a great option for me to maybe get in shape and make some friends. So find those things that either you really enjoy doing or that you've always wanted to do. Join those groups and get to know people from there. I think groups are a great way when you're already having to work together, be it like a sport or an activity group, that you really get to know each other and learn each other's personalities very quickly. Next, going to local events that you have interest in or that you enjoy. Tomorrow in my community, it is Pride Day. So if you're an ally or if you're someone a part of the LGBTQI community, you know, going to Pride is a great way to make friends. If you are interested in music production, interested in those types of things, going to local events with small artists or maybe small poets or small, physical artists, people who make, paintings and things like that. Going to those types of events, it gives you the opportunity to speak to people who, again, have those same interests. I think for a majority of my life, when I was very music-based and music management-based, my entire friend group were artists and music managers and production assistants and musical engineers, because I put myself in an environment to be in that environment. This is also a good way to network, too, if you are building a business, building a brand, but you also get to know people, and you guys can, branch off and have coffee, or branch off and go get drinks, or whatever it is that you do to get to know each other more. This one's scary. This was very scary, and it's actually a part of my homework this week from therapy. Talking to strangers. And I know, stranger danger, but there's an appropriate way to do it. So one of the things that I started doing at the beginning of the summer is putting myself in environments where I was by myself. I like to be by myself in my home, but I don't like being by myself in public. Going to things like coffee shops, going to things like safe bars, going to things like open areas where you're able to interact and do your own thing. That gives you more of an opportunity to speak to strangers. Even if you're not going by yourself, if you have a friend with you, you guys have that opportunity to be like, oh, I like what that girl's wearing. Hey, excuse me, I love your dress. You look gorgeous. You look stunning. I love what you're wearing. Or, hey, I noticed you're reading that book. Not to disturb you, but how are you liking it? I read that book a month ago. So on, so forth. You have that opportunity to make a comment, connection, have a conversation, talking to a stranger. Even better, let's go back to the beginning of this video. Me talking to my neighbor. It should not be that hard to say hi to your neighbor, but me choosing to talk to my neighbor and get to know her and ask her, what her name is and all that kind of stuff. That's talking to a stranger. That can build a connection very easily. Who knows? There may be one day that she sees me going to the gym and she's like, hey, do you care if I come with you? And then boom, gym besties. Even though I like to work out by myself, but that's okay. That's totally okay. So talking to strangers is another good way to do that. Again, this comes with a lot of possible rejection. Like understanding that people are not going to be the happiest, jolliest people about you coming into their space, but also being respectful when you do it and being careful because people can be very rude and people can be very aggressive. So just be cognizant and try to like look out for friendly people. Another option I think is probably the easiest way and what a lot of us do, and that's building relationships with your friends' friends or your spouse's friends. I am not the type of person where I really am like, oh, tell such and such to bring their girlfriend for me to hang out with, because that's normally a disaster. But if you have a friend that you have close interests with, for instance, Trayvon and Eli get along very well because they have similar interests that cause them to be interested in being my friend, that allows them to be good friends to each other. So finding those kind of conversations, you know, your friend says, hey, Stacy and I went to go see this movie the other night, and she was telling me about how much she enjoyed this type of content or this type of movie, and you know that you love movies that are the exact same theme. You know, you have that opportunity to be like, Stacy's cool, we should like get together all together, or having and orchestrating like a girls' day or a guys' day or a friend day where you bring all of your friends together is another good option. But really just building a community based off of the people that you already have around you. I've never really gained friends from my significant other's friends, but I do know that a lot of other people have done that, and it proves to be pretty helpful. So also being open to kind of reading new people that way as well. This next one is a little bit more niche, a little bit more specific. So if you have a dog or if you have a child, going to places that allow both you and your dog or child to really have the opportunity to explore and talk. You know, you take your dog to the dog park, let your dog off the leash. You have other individuals there who have dogs that you can have conversations with, like, oh, you know, that's such a cute collar, where'd you get it from? Or, you know, don't mind my dog, she's a little weird. Yours seems to be adjusting well, whatever the conversation is. Same with kids, you know, having the moment to maybe see another mom. Maybe she's wearing something similar or going through a similar experience with her kid that you're used to, and being able to be like, yeah, that's how she was like 3 months ago. Or, oh, I really like that pacifier. Where'd you get that from? I don't know why I just chose pacifier. You can tell I don't have kids. but just choosing opportunities to speak to each other. This is, like I said, super niche, but it can also go to things like going to a gym where it's like there's a need that needs to be served, but you're also open and able to pay attention to the others around you. So you can kind of apply it even without kids or dogs. Lastly, this is less of a way to make friends, but more of a way to have friends. Focus on maintaining the friendships you have. I think a lot of us take things for granted, especially over these last couple of years with the pandemic, with us being a lot more separate and learning to communicate at a distance. We don't take advantage of the friends that we have. I have built extremely toxic, surface level, pointless relationships with so many friends over the years that it has taught me to cherish people like my Trayvons and my Eli's and my other friends that you guys may not have met yet, that I really enjoy being around because they have instilled and taken the time to have a genuine connection with me, and I've done the same with them. So cherish your friends. Like, I know not all of us like to talk to people 24/7, but check in. Like, if you consider someone a friend, text them every now and again. How are you? Plan things. Go out. We're busy. We're adults. I know. I get it. It gets really busy really quick, especially if you have kids, especially if you have multiple jobs, maybe you're even going back to school. But having that moment and that option to rebuild connections with your close friends that you already have is the best way to keep friends. Because at the end of the day, they already like you. You don't have to convince them like you have to convince a new person. So it's always good to keep those connections going. Well, guys, those have been my 10 plus ways to make friends in your 20s. I feel like this applies once you get older too, but we definitely have a little bit more of a let's go out and do things type vibes. Some of us have lost that in the pandemic. Me. But I hope that you guys gain something from this list. And also tell me the ways that you think that you should make friends. Tell me ways that have worked for you. Tell me ways that have not worked for you. Comment down below. Give me the tea. I'm here for it. And if you have watched this video all the way through, please make sure that you give it a like, a big thumbs up, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I enjoy learning and growing and building community. So another way that you can make friends is by subscribing and hanging out with me every time I post a video. It's an easy way. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good rest of your day.